Bernardino Mountains of Southern California's Inland Empire. It's already going floppy on me. My internet connection is fine. Nothing wrong with it. My modem and my computer both say so, so stop it, YouTube. It's Mayday. Let's show my Google search. Mayday. May 1st, 2025. Also known as International Workers' Day. Some countries call it Labor Day, we don't. Earphone, do not disturb. I remember when I was like 7 or 8 years old, elementary school. The school would take one of the poles that usually had a volleyball on it. Not a volleyball. What do you call that? And why don't I remember? A ball attached to it, tether. They would take off the tether and just attach long ribbons of usually crepe paper so we could dance around the maypole. I don't know why that was a thing, but it was. Let's see. Okay. Anyway, it's every year either May 1st, or if that falls on a weekend, it's the first Monday in May. It was really, really cold this morning. So I got some heat going and now I'm too warm. Go figure. Are you guys still there? The chat room is so quiet. Okay, I'm still there. It feels good in Florida. Well, your idea of cold is probably anything under 80 degrees. Yeah, well, I'm not sure about doing Thursday mornings in the future. I might switch to Wednesday afternoons or noonish. We'll see. So much going on in the world. Not all of it good, but some of it's good. Apparently, there will be a ceasefire. Well, you add 3 hours for where you are, Wita. We're 3 hours apart on the timeline. So if I start at noon, it'll be 3 p.m. your time. Yeah, well, my sleep schedule has been zapped again. Last night I fell asleep around 8 and woke up between 1 and 2. I don't think that's enough hours of sleep, but I'm awake. Well, hi, Jason. Welcome in. Join the fun. Boy. Well, I have an appointment for the GP, the doctor, to look at my face and send me to a specialist. I'm not thrilled about it, but it's getting too nasty. They got to do something about it. Jason couldn't sleep either. Here and there I have a good night's sleep, but not last night. Oh, 3 out of 5 cats went outside. I don't think you can see Sweetie. Black cat sitting in the shade. And Tora's hiding somewhere. Oh well, I'm getting ready to cook a sort of spaghetti sauce, American style meat sauce soon, maybe tomorrow. I have to get the frying pan ready and chop the veggies and set up the phone. It's not going to be traditional by any means, but I will put it up on the cooking channel, Kitchen Challenge to Cook. Let's see, it's 8 o'clock. It's possible that my friend put a newspaper in my mailbox out front. I get the paper mostly for the crossword puzzle. They use the New York Times crossword puzzle, and I do expect it to be a challenge, but they keep giving clues for the names of athletes and other celebrities that I never heard of, because I'm not into athletes and celebrities. I think the only one I've heard of recently is Steve Garvey, because he tried to run for political office. I forget which one, in California. Oh, anyway. I am too warm. Get rid of the jacket. Yes, you cats have fur coats. I don't. I have a nylon jacket. Or maybe it's Dacron or some other on. Anyway, it's artificial fabric. I call them all plastic. It looks like Ukraine and Russia are going to finally quit killing people. One can always hope. Let's see. The Trump administration is suing California, and California is suing the Trump administration. They don't agree on anything. Free crossword puzzles, boatload puzzles. Sounds good. Can you work them online, or do I have to print it out? Well, frankly, I'm more worried about China than Russia, but they're starting to work together, so maybe it should be both. You can work them online. Good. Well, Jason, a couple judges were arrested for allegedly interfering with ICE. I wonder if ice is a keyword now. Do the bots look for ice? It's just frozen water. I don't hold out much hope for things getting straightened out, but at least our president isn't cackling. Yeah. It is weird, I think, to sue the federal government. They did just examine a stupid case against a family of ranchers. The, I forget which agency it was, claimed that they were unlawfully grazing cattle on government land. And they made a deal that, survey the land so we know where the border is. 2 or 3 years, nothing happened, and then all of a sudden they were served with papers and threatened with arrest and all kinds of stuff over a dispute over whether their cattle were grazing on land that didn't have a clear boundary between the federal land and their ranch. And in most cases, because grazing cattle reduces fire hazards, the government will just have ranchers pay for a permit and call it even. They were threatened with going to prison and their children taken away from them and all kinds of stuff over grazing cattle. Well, I think it was Kristi Noem. Hi, Pio. Welcome in. Anyway, the head of whatever government agency has the power killed that whole thing and apologized to the ranchers. Yeah, it was the one who was a governor who had a ranch of her own. South Dakota, I think. Well, fortunately for the ranchers, the attorney who represented them did it pro bono, did not charge them a penny. But they still went through HE double toothpicks. Oh, and Pio, that means hell. HELL. And their grandparents started that ranch. That must have been, early 1900s or late 1800s. That ranch has been there for over 100 years. Pio's thinking of sick leave. I don't know how that works. Pro bono dentist. Back when I had teeth, I had a dentist who would take monthly payments. And if I couldn't make a monthly payment, he'd let me skip a month or just pay a little less each month. And he was a great dentist. Oh, I think he's still in practice, but actually his son took over. He's great too, but they're quite a few miles away. I did once pick up my son in Henderson, Nevada, just south of Las Vegas, and drive him all the way to Tustin in Orange County, California, to see a good dentist. He was that good. Oh, uh, Lita, I don't ever get my teeth cleaned. I've found that it really was not working out too well for me. I was better off just using a toothbrush at home. I'm sorry you have so much stress, Pio. Well, yeah, well, if you react to stress, then it's too much for you. Hmm, boy, I don't know what to talk about. I'm afraid some keyword will trigger doom for my show. Oh, there are May Day protests and May Day celebrations all over. When I was a little kid, Mom told me not to celebrate May Day because it was communist. That's what she thought. Oh, I hate being nitpicked. That's what Mom used to do. It seemed like she never had a minute for me when I had a question. But when she wanted something from me, it was drop everything right now. Don't even try to finish what you're doing. Oh, she was a monster. Spraying chemtrails again? I thought that that was going to be outlawed by Bobby Kennedy Jr. They finally had to admit that they have been doing uh, stuff to the climate by dumping things out of aircraft. I don't know. I need a mint. I have coffee breath and it's so bad it's bothering me. Wow. Mm. "35 years ago, Jason was a freshman in high school." Ah, you're 47. You're a spring chicken. I'll be 71 next month. That is funny, Witta. A town in Massachusetts has a woodpecker who's destroying everyone's mirrors. How does he get into the house to peck the mirror? Oh, I've seen them laying down chemtrails. Oh, car mirrors. Okay, that makes sense. He thinks that there's a rival woodpecker in the mirror. Um, I forget what they call the exhaust from a jet that just makes a little vapor cloud. They tried to sell that to us. And actually, those things don't stay up so long, they fall apart real fast. And I saw one jet, it was a military jet, not a super fast one though, but I know it came off of March Air Force Base. And I was in Lake Arrowhead at a little over 5,000 feet. And the jet was not super far away, but not over the mountain. And it was the same height as the place where I was standing. You don't get vapor trails that low. Even if it was actually 10,000 feet, you wouldn't get vapor trails. But he was at 5,000 feet. And yet there was all this white cloud building up behind him. And he made a big line across the sky. I don't know, Pio. You'll have to decide what's right for you. Oh, Ren is 50. Oh, I did the math wrong or something. 1990. That would be 35 years ago. You would have been 12. Unless you mean college. I assumed you meant high school. In college, that would be 35 and 18. 45, 53. The math doesn't add up. Sorry. Unless my head is doing the math wrong. Yeah, prayers for Pio. Well, sorry, Pio. Sometimes depression involves a physical problem, a health problem, physical health. Um, Vitamins come to mind. I take a multiple vitamin every day. I use Centrum Silver for women, but even a one a day is helpful. And most doctors recommend that you take a vitamin pill every day. A thin fake cloud. That's funny, Jason. You turned 16 and oh, um, okay, you were a 10th grader. I was thinking 7th grader. Now that makes sense. You were a freshman in high school, and I was thinking uh, junior high. So you were either 9th or 10th grade. Let's see, 13. Yeah, you were 10th grade. Okay. You're still a spring chicken. I got 21 years on you. Yep. 74. Oh, 20 years then. I'm 1954. I'm a boomer. Wow. The only real trouble I had at work, other than stupid supervisors, was when I was working at Pup and Taco, fast food place that went bankrupt and got bought out by Taco Bell. Uh, a co-worker was hired because she flirted with the manager. And I don't know why, but she had it in for me. No particular reason. Well, I lasted longer than she did. The guy had to fire her because she was cleaning a piece of equipment that she was not supposed to touch. It was the slicer for slicing lettuce and deli meat, and she cut herself on it, so he had to fire her. She probably got a golden parachute, payment for her injury and all that. But she was gone, and then a few weeks later, they closed up entirely because they were bankrupt. The whole chain. Cat hair. You're fussing at me, Tora. Stop fussing. Say hi to your adoring fans. Let's see kitty kisses. Where's the squints? Come on. She says, no, I don't feel like it. Okay. Yep. Tora's the main cat, and she knows it. When I got her, I thought Sweetie would like having a kitten around, but she just kind of kept her distance. But now they're good friends. cuddle up together and everything. I think Tora's 4, almost 5 years old. Sweetie's older than Dirt. I think she was born in 08, but I'm not sure. Might have been 09. So I think she'll be at least 16 this year, maybe 17. And she still frizzes up and hisses if one of the spare cats bothers her. Mostly Smoky Sue. Tora, what are you doing? Quit it. No. You don't eat Fritos, and I shouldn't be eating them. They're junk food. Sometimes she'll eat a potato chip. Yeah, burnout sucks, Jason. I dropped out of college while I was working on my degree. I was that close to my bachelor's degree because I was burned out. I had no energy. I went home, realized I just couldn't even cook dinner for my son. Called my ex-husband, Philip K. Dick, the boy's father, and said, "You've got to help us. I am just not, I'm so out of it, I can't even feed your son." And he actually was scared to drive, but he got some friends to drive him to the apartment and pick up me and my son, and took us to his apartment. Oh, and we stopped at Trader Joe's and got some lunch meat and stuff like that. Bought me a really nice sandwich. And, he said, "Wow, you really are out of it." Well, I wouldn't worry about being faster, P.O. Just do it better, no matter how long it takes you. Oh, he was afraid of everything. He passed away in 1982. He was a lot older than I was, but he still died young. If I remember right, he was 53. No. Cardiac arrest? Wow. And he was really young. Yeah, Whit just posted the page that celebrates Ditch's life. Wow. Screaming Crane, I've been assuming that you're related to Witta, but now I'm not sure. Oh well, doesn't really matter. Anyway, Phil had agoraphobia and every other phobia. Sometimes he couldn't answer the phone because it scared him. so he wouldn't take a call. He'd just let it ring. Thank you, Screaming Crane. Anyway, sometimes he couldn't even go out the door outside. I started to get that phone thing, Witta. Sometimes I just didn't want to answer it. I was scared. No reason, just scared. One time he had an important letter to mail, and there was one of those blue mailboxes where you drop your outgoing mail. I don't think they have them anymore, but maybe they do. Anyway, it was like 2 or 3 doors down from the house we were renting. And he started to walk there and then ran back into the house and said he couldn't do it. So I took the letter to the mailbox. Oh, P.O. Hope you get better and feel better and have happiness. I wish you great happiness. Happiness can wipe out depression because you're happy. Phil was really amazing, but he was not capable of being faithful. He fell in love with some woman and moved out and rented an apartment for her, and she rejected him. But it was too late. The apartment he rented did not allow children, so I couldn't go back to him, even if I wanted to. And I was rather insulted and angry. There I was with a son who was not yet 3 years old, and he moves out because he's infatuated with some woman, and she didn't even want him. It was a fantasy in his head. So I was angry for quite a while. But I married him. I promised to, love. We didn't do the honor and obey stuff. Love and cherish and all that. I did my best to stand by him, to have his back. Because being angry is not the same as hating. Being insulted is not hating. Well, his first wife of 1 or 2 months left him for various reasons. And I've forgotten her name now. It might have been Janine. It might have been Janet. I don't remember. But she just never made any contact with fans of Phil or anyone connected to him. She had a new husband and a great life, it sounds like. And she's passed away a few years ago. I think it was before COVID. The only reason we know that is that someone came across her obituary in a newspaper. But second wife, Cleo, she wanted to get her college degree before having children. But they were still doing well till Anne Rubinstein showed up at the door one day and said, "I hear there's a new author in our community. I'd like to meet him." And the next thing you know, she's having an affair with Phil, and he ends up leaving Cleo for Anne because Anne got pregnant. Well, Phil asked me to remarry him many, many times, and I got so tired, I finally said yes. And then he died. Well, his medication for high blood pressure was causing side effects that made him miserable, so he quit taking it. He was also on digoxin, which is fancy kind of digitalis for his heart. It wasn't usually a fatal heart problem, but he would go into tachycardia. The heart would just pump way too fast, so fast that he wasn't getting oxygen to his brain. But it was like a double whammy. He suffered a stroke that paralyzed him. And what I was told, that was while he was in the, it was an MRI machine, I believe, either CAT scan or MRI. He suffered a heart attack and never recovered from that. But it seems like every time I took our son to visit, well, at first I just dropped Christopher off and let him spend the day with his dad. And Phil kept inviting me to come on in and visit, so I did. And that began the weekly. It was usually a Saturday, but sometimes 2 or 3 times a week we'd visit, and just out of nowhere he'd say, "Will you marry me?" I said yes, and at Christmas he gave me a dozen red roses and a cute little note card. And officially he died on March 2, the second day of March in 1982. But he had been in the hospital for about 2 weeks. Well, maybe not that long. It seems to me he had the stroke and it happened. Cat hair. Sorry. It happened the day after my last visit. I think that would have been February either 16 or 18. So I think, yeah, he must have been in the hospital for about 2 weeks before they unplugged all the machines and let him go. I I I couldn't. I was crushed. I was so sad. And I had so much to deal with. And I suppose I can say this: Mom's dead, so she can't sue me. My mother insisted on staying with us while she waited to collect her retirement. She retired early to get her pension in a lump sum. She thought she'd invest it and get rich. What she really did was stupidly invest in silver futures, and she lost most of her money. It was only $5,000, but in 1982, that was a lot of money. My 2-bedroom apartment in the nice side of town was $450 a month. You can't rent a room for that anymore. Anyway, she lost her money, and eventually I had to leave my house, my rented house. No, I owned that one. I had to leave my house with my son to convince her to move out because she was showing signs of pedophilia. I had to put a lock on my son's bedroom door so she couldn't open the door and watch him get dressed in the morning. And he started locking the bathroom door so she wouldn't open the door and watch him pee. He was 9 years old. So, yes, Mom was the devil's sister. She claimed she was there to help us, but she was costing us money, smoking all my cigarettes, eating all my food, and not paying a thing. And I didn't dare leave my son alone with her. What was she helping? Oh, and she would chain smoke. She'd just lie in bed all day because she worked nights. She got this job that paid her $200 a month. What? Because she lost all her retirement pension money. So she was working part-time for $200 a month at night, and she'd lie in bed all day chain smoking, and she would not open a window. And I had to leave my window open in my bedroom all the way down the hall to let her cigarette smoke out. It ruined all the curtains in her room, which, by the way, was the master bedroom because she had to have the master bedroom and a nice bed. I was sleeping on a mattress from a cot, can't think of the word, that I put on the floor. A 2 to 3 inch mattress on the floor. And I beat trying to argue with her. At least she had her own bathroom that way. She didn't bother me. when I needed the bathroom. Anyway, she was scared someone would break in and rape her if she left her window open, so I had to leave my window open. And if I remember, she was actually working swing shift, because she'd come home late at night, around 11 to midnight, and I was usually awake then. But as soon as I fell asleep, she'd turn the heater off because she was too warm. And she still wouldn't open a window if she was too warm, or shut her bedroom door. So anyway, she went to live with my brother and his wife, and they had a daughter, not a son. So I guess that problem was over. I hope it was. It was awful. Took 2 years to get her out. I really didn't want her with us in the first place. Anyway, I had so many bad memories. I sold that house and put a down payment on a different house that I eventually had to sell at auction because I couldn't make the monthly payments. I was still a college student, working part-time and raising a son. But we actually got enough out of that house because real estate had gone up. We got enough to survive for 2 years in a rented house while my son put together his own life. He was finally interesting to be around, so he didn't want to be seen with his mother. He didn't even want me to drive him to school because the other kids would tease him if they saw him riding in a car with his mother. But boy, if he wanted to drive from Orange County to Riverside to see some friends, then it was like, you have to take me. I gotta go there. Drive me there. Weird. Teenagers. Anyway, my son is wonderful. He's almost 52. Wow. That can't be. I'm still 18, so he hasn't been born yet. I was 19 when he was born. Now I feel like I'm 38 until I get up from my chair. Wow, been on nearly an hour, and that's probably enough. But really, when I met Phil, I just knew without thinking about it. I just knew intuitively he's the one. I just knew it. And I don't regret anything other than his premature death. I regret losing him. He wasn't in good health. He was born premature at home in Chicago in the winter. I guess 1928, it wasn't quite the Depression yet, but his parents were not doing all that well financially. His father was away in Colorado for work. His mother was in Chicago, Illinois, giving birth to twins. So even though they were only about 1 month early, there were two of them, so they were both tiny. And his twin sister just did not make it. She died in the hospital. Their mother, Dorothy, did get them to the hospital, but his sister didn't make it. And somehow, I think Ditch was 36, maybe 32. He was very young. Anyway, somehow the way his mother talked, probably not deliberately, but it made Phil feel guilty about surviving when his twin sister died. And when he was a child, he used to pretend he was playing with his sister like Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. You know, he'd wear his cowboy hat and have a stick horse, you know, a toy. And all his life he was looking for his sister, consciously thinking maybe she'd be reborn, you know, reincarnation, and he'd meet her. Some women have claimed to be the reincarnation of Jane, but oh, sorry, P.O. It's always sad to lose any member of your family. Anyway, it's rolling up on an hour. Even so, you knew you had a sister and you knew you lost her, whether you were born first or second. No wonder you feel depressed. It's not your fault. We all suffer loss, some more than others. My oldest brother, who had a different father, Mom got married twice, he drank himself to death. He actually left the hospital against doctor's orders to get a bottle of vodka. And he was in the hospital because alcohol had damaged his liver so bad. Well, that was his last drink. That last bottle of vodka killed him. All right, guys, I miss Ditch, something awful. But I'm sure he's up there looking down on us. He's probably still hanging out. We just can't see him anymore. Aw, yeah, Ditch was awesome. Cat hair. If you've been messing with my desk again, there's cat hair all over it. I'll bet that's yours, Tora. Say bye to your adoring fans. Tora. Yes, you're a good girl there. See, she squinted, but she didn't have her face pointed at the camera. Don't pokey paws me. Please don't pokey paws me. Ah, big bad cat. Okay, guys. Having a cat does boost my mood. Phil had 2 cats. I'm sure they help him feel better. Now, let's see. Thank you all and cheer up. I'll catch you later. Bye. Oh, okay, I'll leave it up for a minute or two so people who want to click on the link that Witta shared can click it. Awesome possum. See you guys.